Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and this is the last large photo I have to scrap from my engagement pictures. I'm really trying to get these done before I do a lot of the smaller, like single photo pages, because I know I'll get lots of scraps from using like minimal papers with this kind of thing. So you'll see on this page what I mean is there is so much real estate taken up from this large photo that I really only need, I wanted to do these torn strips down either side, and instead of using the whole 12 by 12 for this, I decided just to tear a couple strips, just enough to frame the photo on either side of this layout. And then you'll see I'm kind of piecing it together on this cheap black paper that I have of a 12 by 12. I'm just going to piece these nice papers onto this one to create my 12 by 12 without using a lot of paper. So this is the only like paper from this collection I'm actually using, and I'm saving over half of it by doing this technique. So I'm just going to use enough to frame either side, and then you'll see I still have a gap top and bottom of the photo. So I will take a scrap of the wood grain I've been using a lot this month to fill in those gaps. So it does kind of look pieced together and patchworky when I start out once I get this kind of stuff glued down, but I think it gets better as I add my embellishment clusters. This is a super fast layout. I've mentioned this before. When you have a larger photo or a lot of photos that form a large kind of collage, it just takes up so much photo real estate of the page where there's not a whole lot left you have to do. So these pages always come together pretty quickly. You really just need a couple embellishment clusters and you're good. So that's kind of another thing you'll see on this page. I get this backing kind of pieced together. Here's that wood grain piece I'm using to fill in the rest of the gaps. But I really just take a doily, I think a glassine bag, a couple butterfly ephemera bits, and then I take a scrap from a previous layout and make a tag and a banner. And I mean, other than finishing touches, that's all I really have to do. So I really wanted to showcase this layout because this layout just really did not need a lot of product or paper. And I think it's a really good layout if you have a larger photo for people who are more frugal, because it just did not have to use very much at all on this one. And I think it still turned out pretty cool. I love this photo. I was really frustrated when I went to pick it up from the printer because I guess the photo was longer than the normal proportion, and instead of trimming off a little bit of the top of the photo, which is all of this greenery, it trimmed off our feet instead, which was really frustrating. But it can be expensive to get prints in this size, and I just decided I have a smaller 4x6 where our feet are not trimmed off that I will frame in the house somewhere so I will see the full photo. But I just really, there's so many photos in this engagement kind of part of the album, I felt like if I could just have something along the bottom of this photo to camouflage the fact that our feet are cut off, it wouldn't bother me as much. So that's kind of what I try to do. But I did want to mention that that is not how this photo is supposed to look. I don't know why they decided to trim off us instead of all of the greenery that is above us, but that's what happens. So just starting my little clusters here, I definitely decided I wanted to pull in some more of these pinky butterflies. I already kind of have some blue pulled in, and I didn't want to go with the black and white butterflies, so I decided to do some pink on this one for some contrast. So you can just see I'm trying to work on these opposite corners for my embellishment. I decided to add my doily down there with a glassine bag as a base for this one, and so I'm trying to figure out how I want these butterflies staggered. And this is my scrap of that feather print. I'll trim that into a tag, and that will kind of add the rest of the base of this layer. I just felt like I needed something. It was looking too plain for these butterflies to just sit on these white elements like the glassine bag and doily. So making a tag with this kind of multicolored, very textured looking paper with the newsprint and the feathers I thought was perfect. So I'm just trimming that into a tag really quick. I'll end up gluing a white hole reinforcer on that and threading some white and gold twine through it. And once I kind of have that together, that cluster I think looks a lot better. I think it really just needed that extra tag thrown in there. I do want the doily, the tag, and the glassine bag to run off of the page, but I do not want the butterflies to run off of the page. So you'll see I'll try to space out here where I want the doily and everything, glue that part down, and then trim it up so I can see the actual edge of the page. And then once I kind of know how much room my butterflies have, I'll go ahead and get those glued down. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure out spacing. I don't want to cover up too much of the photo, but I want that whole little corner to look kind of cute. There's so much open real estate with this large photo and this more simplified design that I'm trying to keep these two little corners interesting enough to where they kind of make the page interesting, even though there's not a ton going on. So I'm just trimming up this corner so I have that little area. And then I will go back and add the butterflies. I still kind of feel like it looks plain with the butterflies going onto the glassine bag, so I do pull in some gold and white washi to kind of run along the bottom underneath the butterfly, and I think that was kind of the perfect extra texture and pattern to add. But you'll see here with the butterfly straight on the glassine bags, it would have looked fine, but it just still looked too blank. And I was really trying to go for a more layery look down here, so I'll end up adding that later on. But I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm threading my tag really quick before I forget with the gold and white twine. And then I think I start working on the upper right hand cluster. I know I'm not done down here, but I think I've done enough to where I can start on the other cluster and kind of get it to the same like look as this one before I continue. So I'm just trying to figure that out. I need to trim this glassine bag off too so it's not overhanging. But I do want to definitely pull in like the scrap of the doily in the other cluster, and then the part of the tag that I trimmed off down here, I go ahead and use that scrap to trim into a banner, and that's going to end up being the base for the cluster at the top. So I really end up liking that. But before I go too far, I of course have to add some Heidi Swap Gold Color Shine in both of these clusters. I just think that is a nice little magical touch, and it helps break up that darker navy. So, and just with the sun glowing through this photo in the background, I just think the gold Heidi Swap Color Shine really plays to that. And I think it looks really pretty that way. So here's that scrap of a doily I'm going to glue down to the upper right hand corner. And then you can see that scrap of the tag I'm going to trim into a banner down there. And that'll be that cluster pretty much. I do definitely want to use at least one of the Felicity Jane Denise tags, but I kind of feel like the cluster at the bottom left ends up looking pretty nice without it, and I already have the gold twine through the tag, so I end up just using one charm in the upper right hand corner so there can be some gold and white twine up there, and I kind of like that different play. Like there's something in both clusters that has the gold and white twine, but they're different, and I like that. So now that I have the banner down, I'm going to go ahead and glue down the butterflies. And I'm thinking about using one of these words, but I decided they would just look too distracting on this type of page, so they get booted. And then here is the Denise charm I end up adding. There is one charm that had pink flowers on it, and I think just with this layout being very blue and brown and just the pops of the pink and the clusters, I thought that would be the perfect one to have up there with the butterflies. And then I thought I needed more Heidi Swap, oh my gosh, words, more Heidi Swap Gold Color Shine. So I added that, and I think I was trying to figure out finishing touches, what I wanted to do. I was thinking about using the liquid pearls again, but I had just gone to a thrift store and there was a pack of 100 gold brads for $0.25. So I was like, I mean, why not? So I got those, and since I am doing pops of gold, I really thought using the gold brads on this page would be a nice change up. I'm really liking the different textures of the different finishing elements I'm using this month, because I've kind of used a lot of different types of finishing touches, between the little glass water droplet beads to the like Nuva Drop liquid pearls, brads. Like there's a lot of different things I've kind of pulled in. I just like that different play on textures. But before I do the brads, I'm doing my title in that gold puffy sticker I've been using a lot this month. I'm just titling it My Future. I'm really kind of almost dead with this alpha sheet. There's still a ton of letters on it, but I'm trying to figure out, I couldn't think of a word or a title with it except for something like my future. Again, I didn't have T's, so I did have to trim up an I to create the T for future, but I thought that was a sweet sentiment for this page. And it's going to be one of the last, if not the last, photo in the album from the engagement session. So I thought it would be a nice one to leave off of from the engagement photos going into like the wedding stuff. So that's why I decided to do that title. And you can see I tried to overlap the title just over the lip of the bottom part of the photo, so it kind of distracts from the fact that our feet are cut off. You can still see that our feet are cut off, but when you look down there, you're reading the title, not really looking at the bottom edge of the photo, hopefully. So that was kind of my way around it. I was just being stubborn and not wanting to reprint this photo. So that's what I decided to do. I am styling my house. I have been doing some DIYs around the house. I don't know if you guys would have seen one. I did film my bathroom DIY renovation, which it's a little cringy, but I had fun doing it, and I know I'll want that video for future reference for myself, but I figured I might as well make it public so you guys could see too, because I like watching other people's DIYs, even though it's not scrapbooky related. So I don't know if you would have seen that yet, but I'm using a lot of these kind of engagement photos in my different like home renovation stuff. So I have this photo without our feet cut off to view every day. So I decided to use this one in the scrapbook because I didn't mind that much on this layout about the feet. So but this is where I'm going in. I added those gold brads. I love how those look. I love how that gold accentuates the gold color shine, accentuates the title. I'm going in and adding that gold and white washi into both clusters, I think you guys saw. And then the washi ran off the bottom of the page, so I just folded it around the back, but I had no confidence that that would actually stick. So I'm grabbing one of my stickier washis to tape that down so it doesn't unfold, because that'll drive me crazy in my album. But I think I'm almost done. Close-ups are here in a second. Really simple page, but I love these clusters and the kind of different things I did on this one. So I think it was another good example of a different type of layout. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.